go live. So look alive, everybody. If you can, if for those who can afford to turn on the mic, the camera and the videos, please do. I'll make it a lot more colorful, at least. Okay, and we are finally live. First up, happy Africa Podcast Day to everybody. It's amazing to be here for this particular session. Thanks to AfriPods, thanks to Abba for reminding us to celebrate the beauty that is podcasting, and not just podcasting, the beauty that is podcasting as an African, because believe you me, our experiences are very, very unique. I am so happy to be on today, and I am here with amazing seasoned podcasters, some of which I know they are joining, some of which they are like my elders in this business, but I'm glad to have them all on. So I'm going to start with introductions of everybody first before we move into what is. Okay, I have here Tony Doe. Hi, Mr. Tony Doe. How you doing?
Hi, Your Majesty. Happy New Year. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Good to be here.
Hi,
Hi.
Mr. Tony. Can you hear me? Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
I think there's a bit of a
Omar,
delay.
thank you for
Yeah,
joining
but
us. I'm just introducing Mr. Tony. Yeah, I can hear you now. Hmm. Okay, Mr. Tony, I was really hoping that you could just, introduce yourself a little bit because today we're doing the joys of podcasting. So I want you guys to be giving yourself the flowers. Podcasters, we don't like to celebrate ourselves enough. So if you could just introduce yourself a little bit, that would be amazing. I'm just going to move. I hope please introduce us. Hmm. Please unmute your mic if you can hear me, or everybody seems to be frozen.
Oh, I can hear you, Queen Rafi.
Okay, I can hear you.
I can hear you as well.
Hi, Hikmat. I think you have a glowing skin.
Hey, God, please. Please. Oh my God. Just coming back from like the very hottest of the hottest sun in Abuja because I ran from class because of this.
Yeah,
So I think your skin is glowing as well. So you have to do
you.
skincare everything after this whole session.
Oh my god. Okay, I wonder what's going on with the network.
Hi, Happy Sonova. I was trying to say hi. I didn't know that my mic was not was muted. How are you? Been a while, long time. I can't believe we're actually seeing each other here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, okay. All right. Hi.
I think her network is bad. Hi, can you hear me? Um,
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
okay,
Yeah, I think
that's cool.
let's see her
Welcome back.
All right. Can you hear me now? Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Have you Sonova, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Katoni says you can hear me. All right. Thank you, David. These are definitely part of the joys of podcasting in Africa. Anyway, so I was trying to do the introduction. I was starting with Johnny Doe, but I think he's also having the same issues I was having. So, David, please go ahead, introduce yourself, a line or two, please.
All right, thank you very much. Hey everyone, my name is David Egop. You can call me Drones. I'm a podcaster, first of all.
David,
I'm a storyteller. I'm speaking, no. Rafi,
please
you can't hear
come in.
me. Your network is behind.
We, we meet that. Please come again.
Okay, let me start from this from the beginning. Hi, my name is David Egop. You can call me Drones, and I'm a storyteller. I'm a podcaster. I'm also the founder of Plug, a podcast co-creator too for What's Podcasting for people who make podcasts.
Hikma, can you hear
I
him?
think that's Rafi is just you. Like your network needs
Hmm.
grace. Um, anyway, I'll type it in the chat as well, so Rafi can read it. I'm guessing her network will not stop that. But yeah, that's just it. I think that's all about me for now. There's many more
Aloma.
to unfold.
Yeah, my name. All right. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you. Even though network made me miss quite a bit of that. This
So Rafi, let me help you out. Let me help you out here for the introductions while you try and fix
hmm,
the network. So since I've introduced myself. I think the next person in line to introduce herself will be Omar. Then after Omar, you pass the baton to anybody else you choose. How does that sound? So by the time we go around, Rafi should have finished you know, her network.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
I hope my network is
yeah.
not also bad.
No, 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 no.
Can you all
Don't
can you all hear me?
worry. We don't hear you.
Okay. All right, my name is Omar and I am the host of the Rest podcast. It's a Christian faith it's a Christian faith-based podcast and what else are we supposed to say about ourselves? And the goal of the podcast is to bring listeners to a place of rest when they listen. So we discuss like mental health issues and things bordering on our faith, on the Christian faith, basically. Apart from that, I'm also a voiceover artist and a public speaker, and I write and I sing from time to time. So I think that's about the introductions.
All right, that's
Okay,
cool.
so I'm
That's
passing the mic to you because of your skin. Hikmat.
All right, thank you very much. Hi, Omar. I really hope my network is good as well. I don't know if you can you guys hear me. Just like give me a thumbs up if you can hear me or something. All right. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this
We
is what
can
I
hear you.
okay. Okay, so I think I came in as Oma was trying to introduce herself. I hope you guys can hear me now because
Yes, we can.
it's been a struggle trying to get this thing to work as well as I wanted to.
I think Hikmat, you can continue. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, my name is Hikmat, and I am the host of Sweet and Sour Podcast, and it's just a podcast that is on personal development. Well, I don't really know what okay, for the podcast. That's just about it. And then I am a medical student as well, so I'm in medical school. I had to run from class to attend this, but then we're done with class for today. So yeah, I thank God I was able to get to come and do this, and I'm so glad to see every single person here, especially people that like I met when I first started podcasting, in persons of Afizonova and Mr. Tony and Queen Rafi as well. Like these people, they're people I was always running to every time I had problems.
That's nice. Thank you very much. Um, the next person I think should go around is Hafiz Nova. I don't know if I pronounce that well. Since we're going around. Okay, cool, cool. We can't hear you. Am I the only one?
We can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Okay. So I think Hafiz Nova, while you fixed your mic, um, Tony can go next in terms of introduction. So that's yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my network has been mad. Okay, Mr. Tony, please could you go ahead and thank you, David, for continuing. Can you guys hear me now?
Loud and clear. Carry on your thoughts.
Loud and clear. Very
Looks like
clear.
my laptop decided to not work, so we're gonna have to manage my phone. So, Mr. Tony, please go ahead with your introduction.
All right. Hello, everyone. The name is Tony Doe. I host Into the Podverse as well as publish a newsletter of the same name, Into the Podverse. And what I do with the platform is explore the challenges, look for the bits of innovation, and identify the opportunities for independent African podcasters. So that's like my focus for now. I've had different iterations of myself, but yeah, I'm happy to be a podcaster, happy to be a part of a community of extremely talented, gifted storytellers. So that's my story.
Thank you so much, and you've inspired quite a lot of us in this business. I know I've missed a few, but Hikmat, have you had an introduction yet? All right, great. All right. When I was reached out to by AfriPods and for topic to discuss, I kept thinking about it. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to podcasting. And sometimes I feel like we are so stuck in the process of talking about how to make it better, how to make a better show, how to make a more interesting show, how to market your show. We're always into the process that we never take a step back to celebrate some of the joys that podcasting has brought us. And I decided, you know what? That's going to be the topic for this panel. Let's talk about the joys that podcasting has brought us. Let's talk about some of the things that has happened just because of podcasting. That thing that you sit, you think, and you say, if not for podcasting, I probably would never have had this type of opportunity. And, since I'm leading this panel, I think I'll just give one thing and then I'll go around and ask every one of us, what is that one thing that podcasting has given to us that you know for sure that you wouldn't have had this pocket of joy, this pocket of happiness if it wasn't because of podcasting? For me, I have to say podcasting gave me a career. I can't even lie. Podcasting legit gave me a career. If not because of podcasting, I will be broke. I'll be very, very broke. And we all know that the money is important. Podcasting literally handed me a new career. When I was leaving school, I said I was going to be a multimedia personality and do all kinds of things, radio, TV. I never said podcasting because podcasting was not even a viable thing at the time, or I didn't even know about podcasting. But getting into podcasting, doing it for a few years, and then thinking of how to monetize it in my own way that is not too stressful for me has literally handed me a career. Now I'm able to say I'm a podcast producer, I'm a podcast editor. That would never have happened if I didn't carry my phone so many years back in 2018 to record my very first episode. With that said, there's so many more things I can tell you, but let's start with this for starters. Now I'm going to go to, Hikmat. I'm going to you because I feel like I remember when you started podcasting, and to see how you've grown is beautiful. It's really beautiful what you've done with Sweet and Sour podcast. That's why I'm coming to you. So tell me, what is that one thing that you can hold on to that is a pocket of joy that happened solely because of podcasting?
Oh my goodness.
Your volume is a bit muffled. I don't know why. Yeah, like the audio is really muffled. I can't hear you clearly.
But can you hear me better now?
Hmm, I can tell you that there's a sound. I don't know where the sound is coming from. The sound.
Let's see where the sound.
Yeah, we can still hear the sound. I think the next sound is speak louder. So maybe that would be the sound. No, sorry, Hikma. We can't. I mean, it's not. The sound is very loud. Yeah, it's really loud. Okay. While Hikma tries to fix that, David, I'm sure you heard the question. Please, can you go ahead and say something?
Yeah, sure. I think every time someone wants to speak like me now, I have to speak. Can you hear me? So that
Yes, we can.
I'll be sure that it's okay. All right, cool. So one very, very important thing for me is podcasting gave me a very interesting way to tell stories. See, I used to make videos, right? And my videos used to be storytelling, but they're a lot more harder to make or it's more time consuming. But then with podcasting, I can tell the stories in a way that feeds into individuals' mind and allow them to build upon their own imagination, right? And that is one very key thing. I'm like, this is the tool that podcasting has given me, the ability to tell stories that allow people to sit down and imagine things, just like the way writing a book can. And that for me is very powerful. Aside that, monetary as a podcast has allowed me to start a business. Like it has given me like a path to start a business. Sorry, is it echoing?
No, we can hear you loud and clear. We can.
All right, cool. So I see podcasting has given me an avenue to start a business, and I like it. I like the stress that comes with it. This is fun. So I would say for brief, that's one of the joys amongst many other things. But yeah.
That is interesting. Okay. Um, Alma of the Rest podcast. The name of your podcast is quite interesting. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, Rest podcast. I mean, I know that now we've kind of made rest look somehow because when you're just saying things that people don't, they're just like, I beg, just rest. But yours is a beautiful type of rest. So I love that. So go ahead, tell me, what is that one joy that you know that podcasting has given to you? And it happens solely, only because of podcasting.
Okay. First of all, I want to say, I keep hearing everybody say podcasting brought me monetary value, and I feel like I think I'm the only one that is yet to start any form podcasting because what? Okay, so if there's one thing that podcasting has brought to me, and it only came through podcasting, it's a community. Yes, it's a community of people who are like-minded, who share my thoughts, and who I can relate with. Yeah, so I think that's the thing that stands out. The community. I have like a community of people now who follow, who listen, and who I can share a lot of things with. And yeah, you said one thing, but I was going to say skill too, because before I started podcasting, I didn't know jack about editing. I didn't know jack about anything podcasting. So I had to learn. I had to learn that on the job, and I had to keep improving as time went by. So definitely skill and community.
That is definitely interesting. And yeah, I mean, skill, because how would we make money if we didn't get the skill? But don't worry, that your money is coming soon. Definitely coming soon. I believe that. All right, Hikma is back. So let's see if her audio is so much better now. And then we can move from there to Tony Doe and then Happy Stonova. All right, Hikma, let's have it.
Is it better?
Absolutely 100.
Oh my God, it's
Thank you
perfect.
so much.
It's
I feel like I can't even pick one particular thing because I feel like there's just been a whole lot. Now, money is not even involved, to be really honest. But I feel like one of the major things is that like it has just given me opportunities to meet various people. Like I mean, people that I never thought that I'd meet just because I have a podcast. And I feel like at the end of the day, everything is packaging. So like in fact, I can't even begin to mention like the people that I have met, and then in the course of our conversation, then we're talking and I have a podcast, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so nice." And I'm like, "Oh, do you want to come?" Like, "Oh, that's amazing." And because of that, like we started talking and having interaction and having opportunities to do things for people. And then again, I would say that like because I remember I just caught Omar saying talking about community. For the longest time, I've been actually struggling to build a community for my podcast. But I think sometime ending of last year to this year, I kind of like got you right, and I'm so glad. I'm so happy. Like after 4 years, like I've been able to like build a community of people that are like interested in personal development, and it's just been nice and amazing. The opportunities, yes.
That is amazing. Talking about community, those of you that have been able to build community, man, I raise hand for you people because 8 years in, let's not even go there. And Hikma combines medical school with podcasting. That takes a feat that I don't even want to even get into. So I'm glad that you're able to speak about some of the joys of it. Now let's go to our Oga Patapata in this business. He's been here for a very long time. Before people thought about podcasting, I'm sure Tolido was already podcasting. So let's go to him to hear. I'm hoping he has a long list of joys to share with me because you've done it the longest. You've done it the longest. Let's have it. What's the things that have happened for you that are pockets of joy because of podcasting, Mr. Torigo?
Well, first of all, they say who first buy motor buy old model. So even if I've been doing this for quite a while, a lot has changed in all that time, and I'm seeing things happening a lot faster for those coming into the space now, unlike when some of us started. For me, it's been about connections. It's been about making friends. As someone who's been passionate about traveling and realizing that my green passport has limitations, being able to podcast has given me access to people's living rooms, people's offices. I've had conversations with people in the broadcasting business and podcasting who, on a normal day, I probably wouldn't have access to. So connection has been pretty key for me. I've been able to make friends and build on that.
That is interesting. I mean, so many of us, this traveling to, when I look at my analytics and I see that I have been able to get into 98 countries for Kwenafi Space Podcast, I'm like, give me the visa now. Don't let it be only my voice. Let me be seen. So I really can definitely relate to that. I absolutely can, honestly. Anyway, Apistonova is somebody that likes to call me his mentor, even though I'm also very inspired by some of the things that he's done for his podcast. This guy, I can't tell you enough, but I really want to hear from him. I feel like he's going to have a long list as well. So let me hear from you. What are some things that have happened for you, Apistonova, because of podcasting? I mean, I know that our friendship is one because you could have not found me if not for podcasting. But yeah, go ahead. Apistonova, you need to unmute your mic because we can hear you. I know you're speaking, but we can't hear you. Yeah, we still can't hear. If not laptop, maybe you go need change your phone no? Because network provider for Nigeria no like laptop connection. We still can't hear. It's yeah. I know you're saying something, but we can't hear him. Hikma, can you hear him? Nah, we can't hear you. Half is still over. Or maybe you want to drop off and join again and connect your mic. Maybe you didn't connect your mics. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Before Apisonova comes back, Sha, I know that podcasting. I can tell you 15 words that will describe podcasting, and to be honest with you, it's going to be very hard for Joy or even what do you call it? What's the other thing? To find like a happy or positive word, because most times I view it as work, I view it as stressful, I view it as connection. But because I wanted to have this session, I told myself I have to sit down and really think about it. What are some joy? What are some happy words that I can connect to with podcasting? And I think for me, the number one word that came to mind was exciting. Podcasting is very exciting. Now, I'm not talking about the process of recording and connect and trying to reach out to your guests too. But when that episode goes live, ooh, nothing compares to when that episode goes live. Like that episode makes me happy, makes me excited. I'm just like, yes, we've gone live. And then when people also reach out and say, this episode was very helpful for me. I learned this, I learned that. I'm just like, the joy in my heart, it cannot be contained, to be honest. So I think I wanted to ask from, you guys on here as well, what part of the podcasting process makes you the most happiest? Is it when it goes live? Is it when you are editing? Because I heard somebody say they enjoy editing. That must be a superpower. Or, or is it when you're producing, or is it when you're trying to reach out to the guests? What aspect of it actually makes you really excited? I see a couple of our guests have dropped off. I'm hoping they can join back in. But for now, I have David and Hikma. I'll work with that. Hikma, please go ahead. Let me know what process of podcasting excites you the most.
All right, thank you so much, Mira. So, the part can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
In fact, I feel like there are so many parts that excites me. But the one part that excites me the most is actually recording, like the actual process of recording the episode. I feel like it's so interesting because like I'm just doing my thing. It's not script or anything. That process is very interesting to me. Now, if it's an interesting episode and I'm editing, and then there were so much parts to laugh about, then that excites me. Every post production, I don't like it. But you see the process of recording, editing, going live, getting feedback, anything that has to be posted.
That is interesting. Pre-production is the anyway, make I lose stress. Anyway, Oma, welcome back. So I was asking, right? I said, what aspect of podcasting gives you the most excitement? I spoke about me when the episode goes live or when I get an audience feedback. Those are the times when my whatever hormone is responsible for happiness is at its highest. So for you, what process of the podcasting, thing makes you most excited?
Okay, it will be when I release the episode deadline, I get very excited, And when I get feedback from the audience, everyone is like, okay, especially for those episodes that you didn't really feel them like that. Someone is like, oh my god, this episode is so helpful. It's so I'm like, see, okay, all right, okay, yeah. So that's usually one of the most exciting parts of the podcasting process for me. Yeah. Okay.
That's definitely very beautiful. Tony Doe, what aspect of making a podcast makes you very excited? What aspect of it?
I would say it's production, probably because of my background in radio. I always enjoyed producing, so that was the first thing that I sort of explored. When I moved into podcasting, even before deciding to actually write notes and do the voice work, I was focusing on putting the elements together, coming up with powerful intros. I found out that intros are better on podcasts, but I actually enjoy producing. So it's putting the bits together, the beginning, the middle, the end, having an intro, having an outro, or having an outro, depending on the nature of the show I'm doing. Either I have a preset template or I mix it up a little, but it's actually the process of production that I enjoy the most.
That's interesting. Oh, those of you that enjoy this process of production, hey, I need small superpower. Oh. I really need small superpower. I can lie you. David, hi. Please don't come and tell me production. But what parts of making a podcast you're excited?
What's up? Okay, so for me, the most interesting part would be crafting the story and then recording. To be honest, I think like crafting the story, then recording it is very, very interesting for me. That is like the thing you do before you on your mic, where you sit down, then you write about like, okay, this is first step, this is the second step, and then this is, how structured. And then when you record and you're with your mic, and you're like, first of all, I like to have a good mic so I can admire the mic. I'm like, okay, this mic is good, and then I start recording. I really love those parts. But like my background is in like editing, right? So I'm sort of interested in that as well. I like it too. I'm not gonna lie. I love editing. Not like I would die on the hill of I must edit all the time, but when I'm editing, I enjoy it. I don't have it. It's not a bad thing. Unlike people that are repellent of it, nah, it's not a bad thing. I can do it. It's fun. That's it for me.
That's interesting. That's very interesting because as much as I don't like editing, I'm sure every one of us here who have edited our podcast by ourselves before can relate to. That time when you're sitting down, you're on whatever audio editing software that you're using on your laptop. I use Adobe Audition. And then you cut one side of the conversation, and then you cut the other side of the conversation, and then you join it together, and it makes a perfect sentence. You're like, oh, look at that. Look at that. In that moment, I like in that tiny moment, they're like, even if somebody else listens to this, they will not know that it's Joy because I smooth it out. I'm an editor. So that part can definitely be very exciting. Afisonova, are you back? I'm hoping that you are, because I would really like to hear, some of the things that bring you joy in podcasting. And, I think he's still trying to load one day. Anyway, let's just move on to another thing that I wanted to talk about, right? So, with podcasting, right? Episode goes live. Sometimes you record an episode, you don't know if this episode is anything, but you're just like, I don't want to disappoint my audience this week. Let me just make sure that this episode goes live, and then episode goes, it's just like, wow, you did not even expect the fact that it went that good or like your audience enjoyed it that much or whatever. Atisonova, are you back? Can you say
Yes, I'm
something?
back. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Finally. We can absolutely hear you. So I asked a question before. Do you still remember it?
Yeah, that particular joy that brought podcasting has brought along the way and all of that. And you mentioned our friendship as one of it. I mean, obviously, without podcasting, our friendship won't. I'm not sure we'll have come across paths and stuff like that. But it's been a whole lot of joyful experience. Honestly, meeting a whole lot of people. I think Ikmot and Omar mentioned community. That has also been part of it. But I think the major thing has to do with the fact that one of the things Mr. Tonido said about you traveling around the world without even actually leaving your bedroom and stuff like that. I think one of the major joy for me was when I got an invite from a podcaster in India inviting me to come and talk about, Afro beats, you know, on a podcast. And it felt really, really, joyful for me because I feel like, I mean, of all places for me to get an invite, India, who is that person in India? When I see the statistics and I see somebody from India is always listening, I always feel like maybe it's a makeup, what is call it, stats. And then to actually get an invite from somebody over there saying, I want you to come my podcast. And it's not just about being on the person podcast, it's about after even having the podcast, me and the person still maintain, a little bit of good relationship. So that's, in a way, it's one of what is called it, the most joyful thing that podcasting has, done for me. And like I said, there's a whole lot of, joyful experiences, but yeah, that's, one of the highlights.
That is interesting. India. I mean, so now if you want to go to India now, you have a willing friend that's gonna take you in, show you around. That is amazing. And all of that because of podcasting. All right. Another question I asked when you were not around was, what process of making a podcast makes you excited? Is it the pre-production stage, the production stage, and
Definitely.
when it goes live? Which is it?
I think it has to be the what is called it, the production stage. I mean, record. Let me just use the recording process. Actually, when I want to record, I think that's like the most interesting thing because that's when I'm in my creator of the energy mode, and it's so exciting. No matter how sad or how bad or how much life I'm going through, once I pick that mic and I say I want to record a podcast, and I go, Chacha Nation, it feels like everything stops, the whole worry just stops, and I'm just in a different mode entirely. And I can just do that for as long as, even if I'm not going to put out that episode, but just being in that mood, just being in that world on its own, it's one thing I enjoy the most. Like that was the best that I enjoy the most, honestly speaking.
You're not alone, no. A lot of people have said they enjoy it. Hikma has said the same thing. Tolido said the same thing. I might be the only odd one out that don't enjoy all of that. But yeah, I'm really glad that today we're just celebrating some of the joys that podcasting bring us, because that's what this panel is about. Most times we're focused. Oh, how to make a better show, how to make sure the background sound is not louder than this, how to market, how to get. Let's take a step back, at least in this 1 hour, and just enjoy this beautiful, beautiful art of creating stories and telling stories. And I loved what David said when he said all of that planning, thinking about the topics, coming up with them is also part of the things that definitely bring a lot of podcasters joy. Just knowing that this thing is mine and I can do whatever it is I want with it. So I was going to ask another question, which is the fact that, when you put out an episode, you never know what that episode is going to look like. And I know that every single one of us here have that particular episode that you're just like, I don't know what this episode is, but I'm going to let you go into the world and do whatever it is you want to do. But then again, by the time you now start getting feedback from that episode, you're just like, huh? What? What sorcery is this? So I just want us to each talk about that particular single episode in 1 minute. So I'm going to start with David this time around. David, what's the name of the episode that you just sent out there with love and light, and it came back with much more than you could ever imagine?
Okay, this is very interesting. So there's a I have a ton of podcasts out there. Not a ton, no, like a good number of like different podcasts and different names. There's one called Stories. It's called What's Podcasting Stories. It's titled Lay Your Head, and it's an audio drama that I made with my friend. We made it together. See, before I put that thing out, I was hyped, and then when I was done editing and working on it, before I would put it out that night, I was like, you know what? I am not so sure this thing would get as much interest like I actually have while making this thing. But one step inside water is better than not even putting your leg inside at all, especially when you want to bath in cold water. So I was like, no, I'll just put it out. And that's what I did. And then I got feedback from people. I'm like, wait, this audio drama is actually good. Like, there are ways you can improve it. There's a place here, there's a place here. But like, just putting it out there alone, like, got me feedback from people. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. This is an interesting story that you can listen to. And yeah, that's one story. I mean, from one of my podcasts, Lay Your Head. It's very, very cool.
I'm definitely going to go and look
And
for that episode because lay your head already sounds like something interesting. I mean, I love my bed a lot. So if you ask me to lay my head, I'm interested in laying it anytime, any
it is
day, anytime.
interesting.
So, Afisanova, what was that episode for you that you sent out there and you just came back with unbelievable feedback that you never expected? Afisanova, are you there? If you're there, we can't seem to hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. I think I'll move to Hikma for now while
A
Afisanova.
little bit
Yeah.
predictable, but the first one was not. Like, I didn't see it coming because I what is called it. I had like difficulty convincing myself to record the episode in the first place. Me now, I'm here. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear. Oh my. Can can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Replies I got from that was, quite the amount of response I got from that is quite unexpected. So there are actually two episodes. The first one is titled "The Beef in the Nigerian Music Industry," which I actually did. I just did it and I put it out there, and then I got a lot of replies from people telling me, "Oh, you've not covered the whole beef. There's this, there's that, there's this. There should be a part two." So I decided to do a part two, and then when I did a part two, I started getting comments from other African countries saying, "Oh, what about the beef in this? What about the beef in that?" So I went ahead, I did the beef in the Ghana music industry, I did the beef in the South African music industry. And at a point, it started being like every African country wanted me to do the beef in their music industry. And it all started from just, the beef in the Nigerian music industry. So that was, one of the episodes that really, really, got a lot of rounds that I didn't even expect because I was just thinking like, I just want to do this and just put it out there. And the episode even just came from a conversation that I was having with a friend. And that was how, the episode came to life. And then the second one is the one I didn't even see coming at all. It's titled, music for knacks, quote and unquote, music that can put you in the mood when you want to have a romantic time with your partner. And oh boy, that's caught wildfire because I kept having people telling me to make the song a playlist on Spotify and all of that, and I should keep sending them the list. And it felt like that was the only thing people wanted to listen to. But like I said, I didn't see that coming because I never thought I was going to include a topic like sex into a music podcast. I didn't even know how I came up with it, but then I came up with it. I did it. I put it out there.
Okay, so I see he's muted. I'm surprised that you say you not see a podcast episode like music for knacks going back. Hey, anyway, let's not enter that conversation. Thank you for joining us again, Omar and Tony Doe. I'm just asking the podcasters on here what episode they recorded. Didn't expect it to go viral or blow up, and they were really surprised the feedback that they got. David spoke about Lay Your Head, and Abizonova has spoken about a couple of episodes that he did, the beefs in different African music industries, and one where he compiled like songs for people that want to do their private business. So I'm going to go to Hikma now to hear from her. Hikma, please go ahead.
Okay, so am I being heard? Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm a kind of person that like I really plan every episode I want to put out. So if I want to put out an episode like this day, I already knew that I'm going to put out this episode like 2 months before. So just like okay, it's just for me to record and then put it out on the said date. So this particular episode, the title is "To All the Boys I Have Loved Before." So that's the title of the episode, right? And normally I don't talk about like love or marriage or stuff like that. So that episode just came to my head because I watched a movie. The title of the movie was, so I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, was "To All the Boys I Had Loved Before." But basically, my concept for this episode was literally talking about like people I've had crushes on before and stuff like that. So I put it out, and then some of my friends were like interested in like recording with me in school here. It wasn't even something that I planned to ever put out, and I just recorded it. And the next week, it wasn't the episode that was supposed to be released, and then I released the episode, and then it was mind blowing because oh my god, people like love, people like things that have to do with marriage, like people like so many of these things. I don't talk about them too, but it was one episode that like it blew up, like comments. Even people that I have never even like known, or people that have never listened to my podcast, when they saw that episode, they had to go and listen to it.
That is interesting. For people who are listening on YouTube or everywhere else that AfriPod and Ava are streaming this, you could be picking up some topics on here for things that can go viral, because so far, we've heard quite a number of few things. So in case you want to incorporate an episode like that in your podcast, you already know some of the topics that can kick up really quickly. Anyway, Omar, you're here. The question I asked earlier, I hope that you got it. If you did, please go ahead and answer. If not, please let me know so I can repeat it, so that we're coming to the close of our segment, and we just have one more question. So Omar, are you there? Omar, you need to unmute your mic. I can see you speaking, but I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm just going to be very fast because my phone is about to go off. So, one episode I definitely did not expect. In fact, normally after I record an episode, I go back to listen sometimes. That particular episode, after I recorded it, I never played it. I just left it there, like never to be heard of again. And it was a prayer episode. It was an episode where I prayed. I did a lot of prayer on that episode. It was a prayer charge. It was last year. It was the second episode of the year. So after I discussed a particular topic, the next episode was like a prayer, like praying that episode. So first of all, I felt so cringe. I'm like, it's a podcast. This is not church. I'm not trying to pray and all of that. So I had many contemplations, but I knew that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. So when I put it out, I did not expect the feedback I got. Like a lot of people down to even the middle of the year. It was like one of the first episodes of the year, but down to the middle of the year, they would come back to it and they would say, oh, this was so helpful. This was so uplifting, this was that, and I'm like, okay, thank you, and then I think it was way later that I was finally able to go and listen to the episode without cringing. So yes, that was definitely one of the episodes that I did not expect to blow up, and it did.
That is beautiful. Prayer, we all need it to, especially in a country like Nigeria. Believe you me, we all need prayer. So I can definitely see how that definitely, and I also see the cringe parts, because recently, doesn't seem like religion is quote unquote cool anymore. So I see that. Anyway, we are less than 10 minutes away from wrapping this up. It has been amazing. I haven't stopped smiling. I hope every one of you have also been smiling, just thinking about your podcasting journey. At least for this 1 hour, you focus your mind, you focus your attention on just reliving the joys that podcasting has brought you. And to wrap up, I want us to be able to project, really happy thoughts into the future. I want us to be able to come back to this exact moment, remember this moment, and say to yourself, I said this when we had the Africa Podcasting 2025 on the panel for Joyful Podcasting, and I'm happy that this is happening. So what I want us to do now is, what is the one positive word that you want to happen for you in your podcasting situation? Think of that word. Think of it. What's the one happy thing? What's the one joyful thing? I know earlier, Oma said she wants the money, so you can take inspiration from that. So what is that one thing you want that is joyful and happy that you want to happen for your podcast 2025? Let's do this in less than one minute almost, and then we can wrap it up and say this has been a successful panel despite all the network hitches. So I'm going to start with Oma because I know she says her phone wants to die. So I'm going to start with her first. Oma, give it to us apart from money, or you can add money, whichever one. Let's go.
Okay, so one of the things I'm really looking forward to going forward for my podcast is to be able to have live shows. I had 2 last year, but I want to be able to have more live shows, and yes, also I know we don't agree. Okay, I know that some people have controversies as touching video podcast and all of that, but that too. Yeah, so going forward, I'm really rooting for that happening for me, to be able to host live shows and to be able to have my podcast on video too. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Very beautiful. Hikma, let's have you.
Okay, so for me too as well, watch live shows. Talk to people and have conversations with so many my yeah.
Okay. Afisolova, what's yours?
Okay, so for me, I think there are a lot of couple of things, but the most important one for me, which is going to be hosted by my podcast. For those of you that don't know, I mean, almost everybody here knows that I host a music podcast. So I'm working on a music EP where I will be working with major, or what is called fast rising artists and fast rising producers, to put out a body of work in celebration of the achievement that the podcast has done. So yeah, that's one major thing amongst every other thing, but that's one major thing that's gonna happen this year by His grace.
That is really nice. I mean, having a music, a collection of an EP off of your music podcast would be fantastic. David, you? David, your mic is muted, just in case. Huh. I mean, is it a me problem this time? Hikma, can you still hear me? All right, cool. All right, David, I can't hear you, but we're running out of time. We have less than 7 minutes left, and I have to say, this has been beautiful. This has been fantastic. And I know somebody just said, Rafi, you will not share your own. I will share it. I think for me, it would just be to be able to come up with my podcasting course. People have been on my neck for years. Rafi, we done this for a lot of time. Put out a podcasting course and everything like that. But I have just always stalled on it. I'm hoping that by the time the next Africa Podcast Day rolls by, I can have a podcast course that people can just go out there and be able to start off for themselves and not have to think of all of the other things. I mean, thinking back to my own journey, I want to put out a podcasting course that I wish I had when I started podcasting. So that's my dream. But anyway, this has been amazing. I love that we've shared the joys that come with podcasting. I love that we've spoken about the process of it that makes us happy. I love that we've spoken about some joy that podcasting has brought us. For me, beyond even the money, the connection, every single thing that everybody has shared on here is definitely something I can relate to. Meeting friends for life, having connections, having people who just believe in you, awards, I mean, I wanted to not brag, but let me humble brag a little. Awards and all of that. This is a really beautiful thing when you think about the fact that just because I carried my phone and recorded an episode, I continue to record an episode. This continues to happen. It definitely just makes you very, very happy. So yeah, David, are you back? If you're not, I think this would be a really good place to put a pin on it. David?
Active. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh yeah, now I'm here. Thank you. I'm active.
So I asked, what is the one happy thing you want to happen for you in your podcasting journey before we have another Africa podcast day again?
Okay. I think for me is a really good. I think is the growth of this beautiful thing that I built with my friends called Plug, PLLUGG.com. Is we built this for podcasters, basically to help the end process. Like you guys complain about the end process of how it's not that fun. So Plug helps take away and create like snippets of text, quotes, LinkedIn post summaries. It's free. All from one episode, all in one platform. So for me, it's like seeing podcasters use that and like having them experience. For us, the tagline is making podcasting feel like a breeze. So if that can happen to a lot more podcasters before the next events, I'll be happy. Like, I'll be really excited, more than I am now. So yeah, so please use it. Shoot me a feedback. It is plug.com, PLLUW.com. That is what I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
That is beautiful. And yes, I previewed the platform a little bit yesterday and I was very impressed. I might try it, and definitely before the end of the week and I'll give you my feedback. I perused it and I was like, are you really the ultimate tool? I'm hoping that it becomes that ultimate tool. And I'll be proud to say this is what the Nigerian podcaster has done for podcasting. I hope it happens for you. Yeah, wow, this has been interesting. Despite the network hula baloo here and there, I've really, really enjoyed this. I've really, really enjoyed myself. It's Africa Podcast Day. Podcasting is here to stay. I look forward to us being able to stand up really tall, really high. And you know how YouTubers feel and all these other people feel. I look forward to that day where podcasters can also say, we are here. We've made our mark. We're already making our mark, and I know that we're getting there. But I want a time where I tell somebody I'm a podcaster and everybody is in awe of me. That's what I want. Everybody is in awe of me, That's exactly what I want. And nobody's asking me, what is a podcast, So yeah, I hope that we get there. Overall, this has been beautiful. This has been exciting. So everybody who joined us on all the other platforms and would also join you later, I leave you with this. Even though the joy of podcasting is not immediate, it is a joy that will definitely come. You know why? Because podcasting is a platform that is there for years and years and years to come. So if you're just getting started and you're kind of worried about all the whatever, I hope you listen to this. I hope it inspires you to continue. If you've abandoned your podcast, because I know some of you have, this is the time to pick it up because there is definitely joy in podcasting. Find it, hone it, and hold on to it. Thank you so much for joining. Bye, everyone. Can we all say Africa Podcast Day? Happy Africa Podcast Day.